Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and Super Bowl 50 will be here before we know it. And I think we first have to ask this question. A lot of us are most likely leaning towards the Carolina Panthers. And if you're going to be leaning towards the Carolina Panthers, there've got to be some questions that you have to answer. And I think more than anything, it's what's their biggest advantage over the Denver Broncos? And I think that there are a couple that you could go with. I think number one is Carolina's ability to run the football. They're coming into this game with 31 straight games of 100 yards rushing. That's the third longest streak in NFL history, and that's quite a testament to their ability to get that consistency in the running game always. I mean, even with Jonathan Stewart out for a couple games this season, they did not skip a beat, and that just makes your entire offense run so much easier, and especially for Cam Newton. The growth he's made in his game this season has been helped out tremendously by how effective that running game has been. And we all know Cam Newton has the wheels to back that up as well. But I mean, the running game has been outstanding. You look at the matchup against the Denver Broncos, and there's no surprise. I think we all consider them the top defense in the league this season. And gaining and establishing the ground game is, of course, going to be a huge part of the game plan against this Denver Broncos team. But you just look at, they always seem to find some way to get the running game off on the right foot, and Carolina's certainly been a team where they haven't had to play from behind that much this season. And I think that's the next question you have to ask is, what if Carolina is put in a situation in the Super Bowl where they have to play from behind against Peyton Manning? And that doesn't worry me, and I'll tell you why it doesn't worry me. Ron Rivera, of course, is the nickname of kind of being Riverboat Ron. He's not afraid to take chances. He's not afraid to do aggressive things. And he has the ability to be more aggressive with his play calling and with his team than Gary Kubiak does with the Denver Broncos. Gary Kubiak's got to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more conservative. If things start to get away from them, he can't take as many chances as Ron Rivera can if they're playing from behind. Because I know Peyton Manning looked great in the AFC Championship game. Definitely looked like he had more energy. He had more zip on the football. He moved better. But still, Peyton Manning has shown just very much a big struggle to make the big explosive plays, to make the big throws down the field. Gary Kubiak doesn't have as many options and as much ability to be aggressive like Rivera does, because Rivera's team is young. They are deep. They are fired up. He can make big aggressive moves whenever he wants to in this game, and I think if they do have to play from behind, that's why I'm not too worried about it. And also, look, I was at MetLife Stadium covering the game that the Giants and the Panthers played, and the Panthers got down in that game, but they made a surging comeback. This is an offense that has speed. This is a defense that has outstanding speed, and because of that, I don't think that they'll be in much trouble if they do get into a situation where they have to play from behind. I think the overall point, though, is going back to speed for a minute. This is going at, you have to look at it from this perspective. Denver's offense in their offensive line really wants to slow the game down. There is no question about it. They want to control the tempo. They want to set it at their own pace. They want to move the ball down the field at their own pace, run the ball, set up the 10 to 20 yard passes to everybody. They want to control the tempo. Carolina's defense is not going to allow that to happen. This is a defense that is incredibly fast in all phases. You look at the pass rush that they generate, they are very fast off the line. They have fast corners. They have fast linebackers. You see how quickly Luke Kuechly reads and reacts to everything on the football field. He recognizes everything that you throw at him. They are too quick for the Denver Broncos offensive line. I just think that is where this game is going to be won. It's going to be won in between that battle right there. The Panthers pass rush and the Broncos offensive line. I just think Carolina is too quick for Peyton Manning to really do what he's going to want to do. He's going to need to establish the running game desperately in this game, and I just think they're never going to be able to get into a consistent rhythm running the football because of how good Carolina is with their pass rush and how fast they are. I mean, in the speed transfers to the other side of the ball too. They have the number one ranked offense in the league this season. They are incredibly quick. They don't have the best talent position players with Ted Ginn, with Devin Funchess, guys like that. But what they do have, and they compensate for that, is in their speed. Cam Newton's speed, their receiver speed, it is all over the field for the Carolina Panthers. And if you try to separate these two teams at their core, the biggest difference is the speed. And then you also have to go back to the ability to be aggressive. I think Carolina has more opportunities where they can be aggressive, many more than the Denver Broncos will have. Now we kind of go to the other thing, and that is Carolina has a top player at all the positions that matter. There's no question. At linebacker, they have the best linebacker in the game with Luke Kuechly. They have a shutdown corner in Josh Norman. They have a bunch of pass rushers who can get after the quarterback. They have a very trustworthy tight end in Greg Olsen, who has been Cam Newton's rock. That's been the guy where when he's in a situation where he needs a big play, he can always depend on him. And then the biggest of all is Cam Newton. You need to have a quarterback. You're not winning the Super Bowl without a quarterback who can play and can read and react to defenses, because you know Denver is going to try to rattle Cam Newton early, a very young quarterback on the biggest stage imaginable, who's had an MVP season. They're going to try to show him a lot of things he hasn't seen before, because this is a young quarterback. They want to throw as many new schemes and concepts at him as possible, because they know how much work he puts in the film room. They know he's going to recognize things he's seen before immediately. He's a smart player. He really is. Even if you don't like him, you can't fault and you can't knock the progression in Cam's game, the way that he reads and reacts to the game. He has almost like a perfect understanding of trying to fool the defense into doing things and make things easier for his offense. They're going to try to throw a lot of new things at him, but he has shown the ability time and time again this season. It's why he has had an MVP-worthy season so far, and he has been incredible. I do think I'll make the official pick now. I mean, we're going to have a Super Bowl special show next Friday before we kick off that weekend. But right now, I kind of made up my mind. You have to go with the Carolina Panthers here. Like I've said, with all of these advantages, I think they have top players at all the positions that matter. They have incredible speed on offense. They have incredible speed on defense. And the biggest of all is, again, people are worried about Carolina playing from behind in a game like this, because they haven't been in a lot of situations where they've had to play from behind this season. But I'm not worried about that, because they have the ability to be more aggressive in their play calling, to be aggressive in whatever they want to do, and Denver does not have that same ability. So if you ask me right now, I have to go with the Carolina Panthers to win Super Bowl 50, but we will have plenty of more shows breaking down the Super Bowl. We'll do plenty for the Broncos, more for the Panthers. It's not going to end with the Super Bowl coverage, and if anything changes, clearly I'll be right in the same place telling it to you. But until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll be back next time.